Budget 2010 brought to you by Harith Fund Managers.
Tapping the international market to the tune of $7 billion, $2 billion 2010, $2 billion 2011, $3 billion 2012 and $3 billion in 2013. What do you make of their move to the International Borrowing Fund?
No, I think it's wise. I think it's good to diversify, as it is the local environment is under a little bit of pressure. So to absorb everything that government is throwing at them. So I think it's good to diversify abroad. I think those numbers are not particularly scary. They're not that big. So I think that could be easily absorbed, and there certainly is appetite for South African debt abroad. So I think it's fine. Our foreign debt as a percent of GDP is not high by international standards. So it's not as if we're exposing the economy to undue volatility in the future should the rand weaken, undue pressures on the fiscus should the rand weaken. So all in all, I've got no real problem with that.
Looking at the international arena and the borrowing, given the appetite that foreigners do have for South African debt, are we going to see these fully subscribed down the line, in your opinion, Simon? Short
answer, absolutely, and in fact probably way oversubscribed. And in the big picture, it's $10 billion, not a huge amount by any stretch, 77 billion rand. I think going to be massively oversubscribed. There's undoubted appetite for emerging market debt. South Africa, top of that emerging market pile. They're not going to have any problem filling that at all.
2010 is going to contribute some 0.5% to, and this is obviously the Soccer World Cup, to GDP in this period. Do you think, again, that's conservative? George made the statement just a short while ago that the South African government has been conservative in its growth estimates for some time now.
No, I think that 0.5% is probably realistic. Obviously, it will help on a number of fronts. There will be higher VAT receipts, for example, all the people coming in and spending. So those things are there, but I think 0.5% is probably realistic.
And Eskom, a 3.75 billion rand going to be made to the electricity company. Any comments on what we're seeing on the Eskom front? Can you shed a little bit more light? And excuse the pun. I thought that was going to go over your heads, guys. I want to lighten this up a little bit.
Yeah, look, I mean, Eskom at this stage of the game needs all the help that they can get, and it's difficult to comment without seeing the breakdown of how they plan to put that across. They're talking about numbers here. They've got to account for amounts that have to go to Transnet, Sanral as well. So all in all, yes, it's a priority. I mean, if tomorrow we're getting a policy document on industrial policy strategies, and one can't even embark on something like that unless you've got enough power to be able to offer industry to develop. So I think it's a key feature, and it's something government has to certainly tackle.
Another key feature, everyone was focusing on what we were going to see on public sector wages and increases on that front. We've seen those astronomical increases over the last 5 years. He didn't give a number, but he did say that they were going to slow down in effect.
Yeah, and just on the almost doubling in 5 years, I mean, quick math in the head, that's 14% increase per year, every year for 5 years, well ahead of inflation, really starting to hurt government expenditure and the like. And the good times, less of an issue, but when it gets tough, it gets real tough. And as you said, he talked strongly about saying we're going to clamp down, we're going to limit it. He didn't give any hard numbers. And the flip side is, I mean, the government's been wanting to do that for all of the last 5 years. The problem is they run into strikes, and then it starts getting messy. And I'm not convinced of government's power in that space to necessarily be able to really limit it to the degree that they want. I mean, are they really going to be able to bring 6% salary increases in the next, say, couple of years going forward, assuming that's where inflation remains going forward? I'm not convinced.
Andre, back to you in Cape Town. Beside the two fixed income instruments that you alluded to that disappointed, anything else that you take exception with in this budget 2010?
No, I just want to come back to the Eskom thing. It seems that the flip side of the coin there is some increase in the grants going to municipalities to finance the free electricity to lower income households. I think one of the risks of course, we're staring at these big wholesale price increases in electricity, is how they translate at the retail level through the municipalities. And of course, all of the municipalities have some commitment to provide lower cost electricity to lower income households, and that could easily mean that some of the more middle class and higher income earners get stung with electricity price increases that are even higher than the wholesale. So it's a relief that government has shown some willingness, and I think it's the appropriate way to subsidize electricity is to target it at the lower income households. So I think on the whole that's a positive for inflation and hence fixed income markets.